Because you're watching a video like this, I'd wager that you're an intelligent person. Even if you didn't get the best of grades in school, we all understand that there are other forms of intelligence that maybe the school system can't track very accurately. And as an intelligent person, what a lot of us like to do is think. Because thinking is pretty much this way of, okay, we come up with ideas, we go over things in our head, and it feels like it can be a productive, good thing to do, to be thinking. And I used to believe this for myself. I thought because I had all of these ideas that somehow I was being productive and, being really smart because, I'd be thinking about all these business ideas or things I could do to improve in this area of my life or to do X, Y, Z. And I'd just be thinking all the time. And while thinking definitely does have its place, when it comes to specifically trying to get better results in your life, I know that for a lot of people, speaking from my own experience and hearing the experience of other people, that thinking can actually be a form of procrastination. Basically what happens is that you'll have this idea of something you want to do, something you want to improve in your life. Maybe you're trying to make some money online so you can, have more financial freedom and independence. So you come up with a bunch of these business ideas. Oh, I can do e-commerce. I can start creating social media on content on social media. I can start, doing an agency. I can start doing X, Y, Z. And we come up with all of these ideas and, we do a lot of research. Okay, what are the benefits and what are the cons of doing this? And we spend so much time thinking and planning. But then it gets to a point where the thinking and planning doesn't actually benefit us nearly as much as if we were to just take action. You're trying to make sure that the first step is the right step. You're not trying to just, be willy-nilly and just do whatever. You're trying to actually make sure that you're doing the right thing so you don't waste time and energy. That's a smart thing and intelligent thing to do. But it becomes a problem when you're doing this so much that you're not even willing to take the first step. You can imagine someone who's out of shape and they're doing a whole bunch of research on how to get in shape, how to lose fat and build muscle. So they read these books, they watch all these content creators online. Okay, this is what you do to build muscle and, go to the gym, do these workouts, follow this workout plan and, all of these different things. And they spend so much time researching and thinking about it, but they don't actually take the action. And mind you, this is something I'd chronically used to do, so I'm not judging you if this is something that you are doing. I just want to help you to avoid the pitfall because it can end up wasting way more time and energy than it's worth. The reason that we overthink, the reason that we may spend way too much time planning and trying to get it perfectly the first time, at first it can seem, okay, we're just trying to be diligent, okay, and at some level it is. But when it becomes overboard, when it becomes over the top and you're spending way too much time, it's just out of fear. You're afraid that if you take this first step and it's the wrong step, that you're going to experience failure. And that's just something that's going to happen. In life, as you try new things, you're just going to fail. You're going to fall flat on your face. You're going to get kicked in the teeth and whatever. And it's going to suck. And to avoid this, people will overthink and overplan and over-try to get everything perfect so that they don't have to experience this. But sometimes in life, you've just got to experience that. At some point, it gets to the point where you can do as much research as you want to. You can do as much thinking and planning as you want to. But some things you're just not going to know. You can't know until you actually take action. For me, when I first started to really consider business and starting these side hustles so I could make an income online, I would do a whole bunch of research on, okay, what's the perfect thing? Should I do e-commerce? Should I do this agency? Should I create content? Should I try and drop shipping or just all of these different things? And I'd spend so much time thinking about it and doing research about it, and I was learning quite a bit, but eventually it came to a point where I just wasn't making the progress that I could have made. If I would have just started, with the drop shipping, for example, and doing e-commerce, if I would have just made the store way quicker, I would have learned so much more than I ever could have, learning a whole bunch of, things online, because a lot of the information online you don't really need, and it's not going to be relevant to you until you get to a certain stage. So, but anyways, just by taking that first action, just by putting the first step forward and not just thinking about it, a lot of progress will be made. A lot of you'll gain a lot of clarity as well as to what is actually good information and useful information and what is not information or useful information. It's kind of like learning about a person and, you ask people, okay, hey, what is this person like? And, one person tells you, oh yeah, this person is like this and this and that. And then you ask another person and they tell you, oh yeah, this person is more like this and this and that. It's only until you actually meet that person and communicate with them that you actually understand, okay, what are they like? In the very same way, when it comes to business, it's only until you actually take action and like do something in that business that you actually learn, okay, this is something that works. This is something that doesn't work. Or even when it comes to your physique, some people will think, okay, oh, well, they'll hear advice from some guy saying, oh, well, it's only your genetics and, you can't really build muscle because, all this BS, right? And then there's another person telling you, hey, well, you can build muscle and you should do this and that, and you'll be able to build muscle, get a really good physique and whatever. And this person saying this and this person giving you this advice. And, even me giving you advice in this video, everybody could be yapping at you. Everybody could be telling you a whole bunch of different things, but you're only going to know when you actually take action. Like, everybody's experience of life is going to be different. We're all going to experience life differently. You can't just, think about it and do all this research and expect to have all the answers. You actually need to have skin in the game. You actually need to do something about it and learn from your own experience, because maybe someone can be right. Maybe that person is wrong. You're only going to be able to figure out once you actually do it. I don't want you to be like how I was before and spend so much time thinking that you're productive by doing all this research and planning and thinking about these different ideas. Dude, sometimes you've just got to start. Sometimes you've just got to, just like deal with it, understand, okay, I might fail. Things may not go the way that I expected to, but no matter what happens, I'm going to learn from what happens and I'm going to get better over time. I'm just going to take this first step. I might trip over, but, I'm going to get myself back up and, take the next step forward and keep taking the next step forward. And I may fall again, but I'm going to learn from that experience and then, take the next step forward. Just keep doing this process, but you just have to take action. Now, I'm not saying, okay, never do research, never plan, because that can be stupid in its own way, but definitely don't get into this trap of overthinking, because from a very practical standpoint, like, you could like know everything, but be so much far behind the person who like never did research, but just like started taking action. Like, you can imagine someone who didn't have access to the internet, but they're kind of like, well, I just want to do something. I want to like try and build more muscle or build a physique. So they kind of like just guess about the things and just like actually do something, and they actually make some sort of progress. Now, it may not be the best progress because, by researching and like knowing the science behind things, you can make more progress, obviously. But if you have a person who did all this research, spent all this time, like years and years of their life, like just trying, like thinking and like researching ideas and whatever, but they didn't actually do anything, how is that information actually helping? Do you know what I mean? Hope you get the value. Hope you get some value from this video. If you did, leave a like, subscribe. Peace out.